So looking back at the results so far, guys, Fulham have lost to Arsenal in the opening game week, and I think it's good. It's a good start to Arsenal having an away win. That was the first game of the season. A surprising thing, but let's hope that for your sake that it goes on. And again, we have another upset, or I think not the favourite team to win. Crystal Palace beating Southampton 1-0. I think most of us favoured Southampton, and a lot of us have a lot of Saints players in our fantasy teams. And then the highlight fixture of the game week, Liverpool versus Leeds. So guys, what do you think? I think it lived up to the expectation. Any takers for that?
Cracker of a game.
Yeah, true. And I think everybody enjoyed the game, right? To see Leeds back in action and putting up a good effort. Yeah, anyway. And then we had another result. Newcastle beat West Ham 2-0, another away win. That's good. Leicester 3-0, 2 penalties. Vardy, lucky there, Shashank. And yeah, the Spurs-Everton game is going on as we record, but Everton are leading 1-0, and I think they're going to hold on to the lead. But Spurs at the moment are attacking, so let's see. And with that, guys, let's move on to the second segment where we have a look into it. Match analysis. Okay, so I think we're just going to discuss 2 games over here. Arsenal versus Fulham, and second, the Liverpool-Leeds game. And so first, talking about the Arsenal-Fulham game, guys, it's been a great start for Arsenal. Not one that anybody expected. 3-0, a clean sheet, a away win, and a good start to you guys for the Premier League campaign. So first, Nirushan, I'm going to talk to you about it. Actually, I had questions prepared, but I'm just changing it a little here based on the chat we had earlier. So what do you make of Arsenal's win, Nirushan? 3-0. And is that the result you expected deep down, or did you expect another long season for you guys?
To be honest, I never expected this result because it's never easy watching Arsenal on the opening day fixture. We've always had a mixed bag of results over the last 6 seasons or so, where we won 3 and we've lost 3. The 3 that we won could have gone the other way as well. And particularly going into this game, like the first 5 minutes, it was a bit nervy, but then we sort of like settled in. Defense did do well for their relative inexperience. They did do well. And as the game progressed, we sort of got a rhythm and momentum going. And I'm actually like looking forward to this season. I just hope that the entire team like continues to grow and put up this consistent performance over the season. Because at the end of the day, it's this consistency that will separate the winners from the rest. I just hope that they can put up a consistent performance. Fingers crossed for that.
Actually, that's the thing, right? Because all Arsenal fans did not expect this. Even on Twitter, all the fans that and friends I'm following, everybody was having a meltdown pre-game as to what's going to happen. And I think you guys came out lucky and happy. And
No, not lucky. We were good.
okay. I'm saying the fans are lucky to have a win on the first day. Sorry, my bad. So anyway, but to finish off with one more question on that game, Sasi, this was not the question I had for you, but this is the question that I'm going to ask you based on our discussion. I think you were one of those guys who did not want Willian in the Arsenal lineup, and him performing so well during the first game week. What is your take? Has he been a good influential figure so far? It's just one game, but what do you make of him in the first game?
At least the first few matches, I think Willian is a definite need for Arsenal, especially with no central midfielders coming in yet. Because Arsenal have always had a problem of shipping out deadwood. So we can't buy midfielders without shipping out a few players, and we are incapable of doing that apparently. So unless we get some creativity in midfield, I think I'm going to change my opinion on Willian because we need him without any creativity. I was expecting a couple of signings, to be honest. With all the hoopla and all the sounds that were coming out of Arsenal, I was expecting 3 more players. But that's it. Right now, he's playing well. I'm happy. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong. A 3-0 win, I'll take it any day.
Okay, good to know that. And actually, just before I move on, I noticed that Shashank and Gautam had something to say. So, Shashank, what was that you wanted to say based on Sasi's comments?
No, I think Gautam wanted to say something.
Okay, Gautam?
No, for me, it's just been like, thing is, like, a lot of people, even I was actually disappointed to see Willian move to Arsenal, but at the same time, I knew what he could bring into a team like Arsenal, the quality that he possesses, the things that he can dramatically change the game from 0 to 100. We've seen moments like that. We've seen him do this year in, year out for Chelsea. So I always thought he's going to be a good value-added signing to Arsenal, especially when he's not really costing too much, to a team like Arsenal.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think more so it was about how the club looked outside. Because you're signing players, you just fired your scouting department and you're signing players from the same agent. It looks like shady business, right? Already, like the owners don't talk enough, and already the fans are on, they're on the bad side of the fans. So the more you do businesses with these kind of people, the more questionable your the reputation of the club and the character of the people who own it comes into question. But no, Williams' quality was never in the question. But we have like 6 young attacking players. Why invest so much money into a player who's like 32 years old? That was the question I always had.
So actually, personally for me, Sasi, based on what you said, I think this is the buy that you actually needed when we discussed earlier on regarding the transfer business of Arsenal, like you mentioned. So you guys have always been buying players who are going to be potential investments or potential match winners. You don't have these set guys with characters today. And I think Willian is going to be one of those guys who's going to be performing well for you guys for the first season, at least, if lucky, even another season. And I'm sure he's going to contribute at least to 5 to 6 wins for you just this season. And I think that's that for a talk on Arsenal, Fulham, and Willian in specific. So let's move on to the second game, guys. Liverpool versus Leeds. Cracker of a game, Gautam, as you mentioned. So the defending champions have started off with a win. Do you think it was a convincing win, or do you think that Liverpool are just still rocking a little?
So one thing that's never in question is the Liverpool winning mentality, right? That they carried on for the entire 90 minutes. But then what I'd like to talk about is the focus of a team from Championship putting up a tough fight against the Premier League winners, at the same time battling them out in terms of possession. So that actually shows that irrespective of how big of a team you are, year in, year out, you need to be consistently improving. So if you look at the Liverpool side from the previous season, that they have not made any significant signings to actually bolster their midfield. This is a conversation that we were all having about the depth of the Liverpool midfield. But also, if you're specifically looking into the whole Leeds play, right? Leeds play, tactically, they are super aggressive in terms of pressing. And in terms of the whole Liverpool-Leeds game, we saw that it was a 7-game thriller. For any neutral fan, it's a good game to watch. But for me, one thing that it is very, I would say, on the hindsight, is that the Liverpool defense has its frailties, which was not exposed last year.
Last season, correct.
And right now, with the whole entire Premier League actually bolstering their squad with like transfer week in, week out, especially Chelsea too. So in terms of attacking players that we're trying to bring in, so every team has actually improved on that front. So I feel like this year, the gap between Liverpool and rest of the Premier League clubs will not be as significant as it was in the previous season. So
campaign, yeah.
That's my true take on it. And also it shows character for the Leeds United team, that they are here to stay. And it was legit, that 17-year gap was just behind them. So I believe this whole Marcelo Bielsa team, they have so much to offer and they're only going to improve.
Good. So actually, based on what you said, last season, even Liverpool, they had the number of wins by a team to have by just 1-goal margin. So that was what was their key success. And yes, there were times when even the opponents played into them and gave them that lucky goal or a good chance to score, and they did take the opportunity. That was what was about them last season. So yes, good for Liverpool, but let's hope that they don't keep this up, because we want an interesting title race this year, not like last year. And to wind up with that fixture, Sashank, I have 2 questions for you. What is your first impression on Leeds, and do you think that they'll finish in the top half of the table?
Leeds were really good, and they were what we expected them to be in terms of pressing, like Gautam mentioned. Bielsa, we know Bielsa ball, Bielsification. So it is really good to watch, but they might face some challenges when it comes to playing teams who are solely reliant on counterattack. And so in that case, when they face, for example, United I think would be happy to not have the ball, let Leeds have the possession, and then counter with a long ball to say Rashford or Martial, and they could break them up that way. So that might be something that Leeds might have to look out for. But they're going to be good against these teams in the bottom half of the table. for sure. The way they're pressing the ball, it's not going to be possible for the opposition team to retain the ball. But top half, maybe 10th. Maybe that's probably it's going to be tough because this time the competition is much better than last year. So it's going to be tough for them to make it to the top half. And just a quick word on Liverpool. Gautam mentioned the defense. The other thing that I wanted to mention was the midfield. Maybe if you look at maybe like you compare them to City, United, and even Chelsea's midfield, I think kind of Liverpool's midfield is a bit below par, but they make up for it with their wing backs and their front three. So that is going to be the question mark this year. And if they get Thiago to fill in there, then I think they'll be a much more complete team. But it's going to be a challenging year for Liverpool because I think City are coming for them, and Pep wants to win it for sure this time.
Good. I think you're right. That thing that Pep is going to want to win it just to prove his mettle and everything. But I'm hoping that Chelsea can actually also be a part of that title race, because we do need to start seeing those wider teams compete with them rather than just a two-horse race. And so, yeah, with that, I think let's wind up with that fixture and also the segment. Okay, guys, so with that, I think it's time to wind up. We've gotten a little past our timing, but it's a good episode, fun episode. All of us pitched in with your views. Sasi, I'd like to thank you first. Thank you so much for making it. We tried to have you in last week. Due to the technical issues, we couldn't, but I'm glad you were back here this week. And how does it feel? What did you make of the episode, of the podcast?
Oh, it was pretty good. I really wanted to come last week because Arsenal. I was really hopeful about Arsenal, but I made up for it this time. Thank you guys for having me.
Sure. Glad to have you. And thank you so much. And we'll probably get you back here for another episode soon. And we might try to get you back again when Arsenal have a bad day, so that we can see the real frustration of an Arsenal fan. And so to my fellow benchwarmers, Gautam, Nirish and Sashank, thank you guys. Good episode. We had a great discussion, and I think we've been really active over the last couple of weeks for this, and we still have one more week to finish off with all our work in terms of pre-production, post-production, recording, and everything for the podcast. And is there something you guys would like to add before we leave?
We're all doing this for fun, for the love of football, and just pure passion. So it's just at the end of the day, it's just all of us discussing football on a live platform. That's about it. It could be over a phone call or a WhatsApp text. So I'm happy that we all finally got this up and running. And actually, when I shared this with my friends, they were also super keen, especially Sasi was super excited to jump in on board. So I'm sure that we all have friends who are interested and willing to actually be part of something like this, because we all love the game and we all watch it week in, week out. It's something that we would like to share at the end of the day.
Okay. So, and anyway, coming back now to the viewers finally, thank you guys for watching our episode once again. And we are open to having guests week in, week out. So if you'd like to be a part of our show, please drop in a comment below and we'll hit you up and we can have you on the episode. So guys, thank you so much and see you guys.